say right now. Was that crazy or what? Hey guys, welcome back to Kellie TV. It was the long-awaited finale of The Bachelorette, and I knew there would be some drama, but wow, I was not expecting all of the drama, and let me tell you, I kind of loved it. So it's time for the guys to meet Andi's family, and up first, Nick meets her family, and they actually really liked him. He was super shy, and he said he was nervous, but it seemed like he really bonded with her dad, and both her mom and dad felt like that he was really genuine and that he really was in love with Andi, which is totally true. And he told them that he was head over heels for her, and then he asks her dad if it was okay if he proposes to her, and her dad is like, yes, that is good. So that went well. So then it was Josh's turn to meet the parents, and he did not get the exact same reception because Andi's mom felt like he was kind of boisterous and super loud, and they already knew that he was a former pro athlete, so they were a little bit concerned about that. But after Josh started talking to her dad, he kind of warmed up to him. He asked if it was okay if he proposed to her, and her dad was like, yeah, that's cool. So then Josh and Andi have some alone time in the Dominican Republic, and you just see that the chemistry there is off the charts. They're always touching each other. She's always laughing. They just look and go really well together. And then they kind of have a heart-to-heart, and Josh gives her a little gift, which I thought was super cool and super thoughtful. It was her own baseball card, and it says Murray on it, which is his last name, and it has her picture playing baseball and all this really cool stats about her on the back. I just thought it was a really, really, really cool gift. So she moves on to some quality time with Nick, which was #awkward. I mean, you could tell such a huge difference between the two dates because she wasn't touching Nick. She was not really listening to Nick. She acted like she didn't really want to be there, but everyone noticed this except for, yeah, you got it, Nick. He was clueless. He felt like everything was going great. He was getting good vibes from her. She wasn't telling him that she didn't want to pick him, so he felt like that was a good thing. But he did say he's terrified that she's going to turn him down. And, you know, he had that happen before with the person he was engaged to who broke up with him, and it like kind of shattered his life. So he was freaking out about that, and he let her know that. For me, it was like watching a car wreck. Like, you don't want to look at them and you don't want to look at how awkward it is, but then you're like looking because what else are you going to do? Really weird. He did give her a gift as well, and it was a little necklace, which was a bottle of sand. It was from one of the beaches that they went to a date on, and that was sweet as well. I actually thought that Josh's was cooler, but it was also a thoughtful gift. So Andi unfortunately knocks on Nick's door. It's time for the two guys to get rings, and we see Josh go pick out a beautiful ring for her, and Nick is getting ready to do the same thing, and she goes to his door and knocks on his door, and we're all kind of like, that's probably not going to be a good thing, and it wasn't. So she's just telling him how she feels. She's being honest. She's like, I don't think this is right. He was like, what? I thought that you were in love with me. I was getting all these signs that you were going to pick me, that I was the one. And he's like, I think you took this too far. He was just blindsided. You could tell he was really upset. I mean, he wasn't crying, but you could tell he was just crushed, and she feels bad. She starts crying. She's like, I just want to be honest with you. And I do think it's a good move on her part before he has to go pick out a ring and go propose and be like totally, totally devastated. But at the same time, it's not going to be easy to tell the other person that you don't want to pick them. So it was hard, and he even threw away the roses that she had given him throughout the show. So we find out that Nick has not gotten over her at all, and he's been like semi-stalking her since the show ended, and he's been reaching out and trying to talk to her since the show ended. And we'll talk a little more about that a little bit later, like in a couple of minutes. But on to the happy news. She is greeted by Josh, and she finally lets him know that she's like madly in love with him, that she loved him from the minute she saw him. She just felt super attracted to him. They have great chemistry. She wants to have babies with him, yada, yada, yada. It's like a fairy tale ending. He proposes to her. The ring is beautiful. I mean, come on, guys. They look freaking wonderful together. They just look perfect together with their complexion and their dark hair. I'm sure if they end up having kids, they're just going to be beautiful, let's face it. So it was really sweet, and I thought that his proposal to her was just so sweet and genuine. I mean, it really was. I thought, You know, it was like the most genuine that I'd seen Josh be. So, and it's now time for the live after show, and here's where we get all the fireworks and all the drama goes down, because Nick has been trying to get hold of her, like I said, since this ended. He tried one time, I think, when she was in Mexico and she didn't want to see him, and then he tried to get a hold of her during the Men Tell All, like before the show. He went to Chris Harrison. He's like, look, I'd like to talk to her. I wrote her this letter. So Chris goes and asks her, and she's like, no, not ready for that. But he gives her the letter, so Nick seems okay with that. And we find out later that she did read it. I have no clue what was in it, but it looked really long. And the more this is going on, the more I'm like, Nick has got some issues. I kind of knew that after he had like the breakdown after the girl broke off the engagement, but it's just like getting worse and worse. And I'm like, why do you want to make yourself look like this on TV? Because I feel like he's kind of making himself look dumb. So we finally get the confrontation that we've been waiting for all episode. Nick and Andy sit down, and Andy does not look happy to be there. At first it starts out sort of okay, although he keeps saying, you know, I thought you loved me, you're giving me all the wrong vibes. And she's like, no, actually, I was never in love with you. So it starts to go downhill shortly after that. She did tell him that she read the letter, but, you know, it was kind of like he was kind of moaning and complaining and whatever, because at first I felt sorry for him, and then I was just like, dude, I don't know what you hope to get out of this. Like, why do you have to keep asking what's up with her? You wrote her this letter, you told her how you felt. She's obviously not going to break up with Josh for you. And then, you know, he was mumbling and stuff, and I was like kind of halfway paying attention because I was just over it. And then I heard him say something, or I thought I heard him say something, and I was like, rewind, excuse me, what? He was like, well, why did you let me go if, or why did you sleep with me if you let me go? And I was like, what? Excuse me? And she was like, oh, that was below the belt. And yeah, it was. And maybe, I don't know if he planned on coming on there until I never won that, but whoa, she didn't look very happy about that, and who would be? So anyway, he came off looking pretty crazy, and after that, he was not on the show anymore. So Josh comes out, things get better. They talk about how they're wanting to plan a wedding, hopefully get married in about a year. They're still madly in love. They've actually seen each other, sneaking around to see each other since they live 5 minutes apart in Atlanta. They still look really awesome together. It looks like everything is going to be wonderful. And really, I thought the very best part of the show was the very end when my fave, Grumpy Cat, came out, because Grumpy Cat has the same frown as Andy, and I love Grumpy Cat, and that was a huge surprise. So cool. I really liked that ending. But I was so disappointed because I was waiting the whole show to find out who the next Bachelor was going to be. And I love seeing Grumpy Cat, but it was like no mention ever again about the Bachelor. They said they were going to tell us. They didn't exactly say they would tell us in this episode, but they didn't tell us at all. Although, via Google, I have found out that it's supposed to be Farmer Chris, so I'm hoping that's true because I like him. But I just wanted to thank you guys so much for watching all my videos from Andy's season of The Bachelorette. And for those of you who joined me over at Beamly, and that link is down below to check out that room, because I'll be coming back there all this week to talk about this crazy show and the After the Rose special. So you can still come and talk to me even if you missed out during the live events. And I'm always on Beamly in different rooms, so you can always find me somewhere over there. But anyway, thank you for supporting my videos, and I hope you have a great night or day or whatever time it is wherever you are, and I will see you next time.